Please welcome to the stage Vice President of Product Management, Judd Heap.
Aloha. Aloha, great. And welcome to the Filmmaking Masterclass. Since this session is a little bit less formal, I want to go off script for a second and just thank our production crew. These guys are awesome. This is my 7th Snapdragon Summit, and these guys just kill it. So thank you so much. All right, before we get started, I can see a lot of you. I want to take a poll. How many of you use video for your journalistic endeavors? How many of you make video? Okay, good. This will be really relevant for you guys, so great. So creatives have adopted Snapdragon 8 Elite and Snapdragon X Elite for their workflows on mobile and compute platforms. They've done that for many, many years. We'll show a couple of examples of that today, and that'll be fun. But first, I'm going to show a few slides, and we'll get to the fun part. So I'm going to show you updates on Snapdragon 8 Elite for camera, audio, and video. So at the heart of it all is our Snapdragon Spectra ISP. And this is the second generation of our AI ISP architecture. The pipeline now has been extended to 24 bits, as Alex said this morning. And really, what that means is you get incredible dynamic range, 4 times the dynamic range as you did before, which is incredible. And it has support for the latest multi-exposure HDR 14-bit sensors. And that includes dual conversion gain plus very short sensors, as well as low-fix sensors, which are brand new in the market. Now, I want to explain why that's important and why you need 20 bits, because everyone's like, oh, you went from 18 to 20, what's the big point here? So when you have an image sensor with 2 exposures, 2 14-bit exposures, the ISP has to combine those 2 together. And the more bits you can have a wider exposure ratio between those 2 exposures when they're combined. So what that means is that you have brighter brights and darker darks with a lot more detail in each area. So that's why it's important. So the Spectra ISP is still a triple ISP. It's always offered great color, HDR, and noise reduction. We've done that for many, many years. This has also included real-time segmentation, processing each element in the scene optimally. And since Gen 1 of our latest AI ISP, the ISP and NPU have exchanged data in the raw domain. That was new last year. This means that AI workloads and the hardware ISP are working more closely together than ever before. So some examples of this are subject-aware 3A. 3A is auto exposure, auto white balance, and autofocus. Specifically for autofocus, these workloads have really allowed you to really zoom in and focus on your subject and keep tracking that subject, even when things come in front of the camera and occlude the lens. It's always rock solid and right on. The next example of this is our 3rd generation of night vision. So we introduced night vision before. It's now night vision 3.0. And what we've done in night vision is we've improved temporal noise reduction to make areas a lot cleaner, as well as flat areas like sky, where there's less detail. That's actually more flat now with less grain and noise. And thirdly, more elements in the scene for understanding our segmentation. So as I told you guys in the past, we've used segmentation to adjust tone, texture, and color. And it depends on what's in the scene and where it is, like foliage, grass, your shirt, that sort of thing. The ISP is tuned separately for each one of those areas. So now we've added a couple of new areas. We've added vegetation, and we've added food, because lots of people like to take pictures of their food. So that's been added as well. And those areas are tracked with better temporal stability than ever before. Now I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about TruePic. We've mentioned TruePic several times in the past. TruePic is a provider of C2PA. And C2PA is an authentication standard to make sure that you were the one that shot your photo. You were the one who shot it. It's recorded at what time. It came from your specific smartphone at a specific location. And at Qualcomm, we're really interested in this. We want to make sure that as we go forward with camera and AI, that we do responsible AI. That's why we're so interested in this technology. So we think that every photo, video, and audio file you capture should be signed and authenticated by C2PA, right? It makes sense. So I'm really happy to announce something new today. Now, provided directly from Qualcomm, the TruePic C2PA capability will be embedded natively in the Snapdragon camera pipeline. So it's available to all our OEMs. Thank you so much. Also, something new that was not mentioned by Alex this morning is Snapdragon Audio Sense. Snapdragon Audio Sense is the name for our new end-to-end microphone system on Snapdragon 8 Elite, and that includes our piezoelectric MEMS microphones. Did you guys know we made microphones? Really cool, right? And it's a 24-bit pipeline for audio processing, so it's way better than even CD quality. So Snapdragon Audio Sense brings with it a lot of really, really cool features and benefits. The first is HDR audio. So 2 times the dynamic range of what's mostly out there. So for example, if you are at a concert and you're filming a concert, a lot of people do this, a lot of times your audio is pretty bad from your smartphone. It's distorted because it's so loud, because there's really high sound pressure levels at concerts, right? More than 100 dB. A lot of smartphones can't do that. But with these new microphones and our new processing, we can easily capture HDR audio at a concert in a very challenging environment. Secondly is wind noise. How many of you have tried to shoot a video in windy conditions and all you hear is the wind? You don't hear your subject. That happens a lot, right? And so I'm really happy to say that with these microphones and this processing and a little bit of help from AI, we can handle wind speeds up to 20 miles per hour, and you don't even hear it. And it's not unnatural, right? It's not like, you know, it's oddly quiet and you just hear your subject. The wind is still there, but it's muted to the point where it actually sounds natural, but you can still hear what you're focusing on. Thirdly, for Snapdragon Audio Sense, is audio zoom. A lot of smartphones have this feature today, where you pinch and zoom when you're recording a video, and your audio kind of zooms in as well on your subject. That actually is not implemented that well on a lot of smartphones, because there's a strange kind of threshold between the normal lens and the telephoto lens, and it sounds weird. We use advanced beamforming technology with Audio Sense, and we can actually make that really, really smooth and really sound natural. So those 3 things about Audio Sense I think are really cool. And again, it's our first time to ever talk about it. So this morning, Alex also talked about APV, Advanced Professional Video. And it's really important because we've been planning this for a few years now. So Advanced Professional Video is a new video codec. It's defined by Samsung and developed by Qualcomm in hardware. And so this is the first time APV has ever been put into hardware anywhere, the first time on Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. And since you guys are all going to write about it, I want to make sure that you remember 4 things. 4 things about APV. Number 1, it's high bit rate and it's perceptually lossless, okay? Number 2, and probably the most important, is an open standard and it's royalty free. Like, not a lot of codecs are like that. You can also record in log, and for the first time on a Snapdragon device, record in YUV422 chroma format. And finally, APV, fourthly, offers better coding efficiency and less generational loss than ProRes. So decode, encode the video as many times as you want, it'll still look great. So I have one thing to say. You guys can zoom in on me. ProRes, you are on notice, all right? And finally, ecosystem. I think Alex showed this morning as well. I wanted to talk about the ecosystem we have for APV. So our goal with these partners is to make sure that APV ends up being the professional codec of choice for Windows and Android platforms. That's our goal. And to that goal, we've really partnered with a lot of really great partners. One of them is Company 3. Company 3, if you don't know them, they have produced incredible videos and movies over the years. Some of you might recognize, Barbie, for one, Asteroid City, and Andor. I think many of you probably watched those shows. We also work with them on a really cool video project for Manchester United. We'll show that a little bit later, where Manchester United played Fiorentina. I think we won the Snapdragon Cup. So let's get right to it. Why don't we watch a highlight reel of all of Company 3's work?
Perhaps it is time to begin again.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know.
So cool.
See, I mean,
side.
On the other side.
Where do you say we come in for my close-up now?
Everything you know is a lie.
Let's fly. You gotta be the meanest fighter God ever created. Going to need a gun.
It's going to blow your mind.
A lot of other movies in there I really didn't even mention, so it's totally cool. Now, I want to welcome to the stage Dom Phipps, colorist at Company 3. Thank you. All right, this is where the fun begins. All right, Dom. So you're going to do some grading on stage with us right now.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. So first of all, I want to ask you, what does a colorist do? Your job description, what does it mean?
Okay, so a colorist's job is to manipulate and enhance the image that is shot in camera. So our job is to make it look, horror films, blue, green, gritty. If we're here in Hawaii, we want it to be poppy, vibrant, some rom-com.
Yeah.
So our job is to kind of set the tone to help visual storytelling.
Excellent. Excellent. And I want to just mention a few things about your setup here. So you have a Snapdragon X2 Elite laptop running DaVinci Resolve.
Yep.
You have the Blackmagic editing console.
Yep.
And you have a monitor here, but what we're showing behind us is your edit window and your final video output, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, just make sure everyone understands that. So I guess the first thing is this video we're showing was shot, I think Alex showed this morning as well. This was shot by Chinese National Geography in China. This is Mount Everest. And it's in APV format, natively captured in APV 10-bit 422 in log.
Yep.
And can you explain a little bit why log is important when you capture?
Yeah, so the reason you shoot in log is the way that you can process the images captured by your phone or your camera. And when it captures it, it comes out of the camera looking desaturated, low contrast. And the reason you do that is to really give the colorists all of the range that they want to be able to manipulate it themselves. So when I'm looking at an image, I want full creative control. I want to decide where the contrast curve is, where the highlights sit, where the shadows sit, how my saturation lies. And when you shoot in log, I have control, full control.
So while the log video might look flat and weird, actually it means you have more control over it because
way more.
Detail's not getting lost in highlights and shadows and that sort of thing.
Yeah. When you shoot with burnt-in contrast, I can't do much with it.
Okay.
You try and stretch it. You will clip your highlights. You will, things will go into black very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it looks worse to start with, but it means I have everything I need just to kind of give it that creative touch.
Very cool. Why don't you show us some of the work you do and grade this video for color and show us some tips and tricks?
Yeah, cool. So this video here, let me get rid of these. I'll show you. So this is our starting point, and this is kind of an overall look that I've applied to the scene. We're trying to give something cinematic, golden hour, quite beautiful. And the idea of this is that Everest is our focal point.
Got it.
So I will always try and get a grade kind of tailored towards what we're wanting to look at first. So whether that's a person in it, a product, or in this case, Everest.
But your foreground is really dark here, right?
Yeah, exactly that. So by setting the look here for Everest, I'm now having to try and claw back some detail in this foreground here. So what I can do is I can add a little shape. This image. So I'll just do a rough mask. Coming down. Do something basic, and then I can show you here as we do a little soften. Okay. So the idea of this is I now can tweak within this.
So when you're making these changes, you're only affecting the part that was in that box you drew,
Exactly
right?
that.
Okay.
So as I drew that box, you can see that's the selection.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving Everest as it was, because that's kind of where I created my...
You already got Everest the way you like it.
Yep, yeah, exactly that. So I'm just going to lift up some more detail here to kind of there. I think I like where this reflection is sitting.
Yeah.
But the problem with this is there's some movement. So really simple.
Yeah, this clip is a few seconds long, right?
It's a few seconds long, and the camera tilts.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do a quick track here, use the cloud tracker.
Yeah. So now it's actually creating motion vectors.
Yeah.
When the scene is moving.
Exactly that. So I can show you here.
Yeah.
So as that moves up.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So the problem with this now is that this shape I drew, we've now been revealed some more information at the bottom of the picture I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
So
Because stuff came into the scene that wasn't there before.
exactly that.
Yeah.
So I can actually just move this down and just make sure. There you go. And now, because that track's done, there you go, everything's covered. So I think that's sitting in quite a nice place. I still think we're losing some detail in these sides as well. So I'm going to do another very quick shape.
This is a tip you have, right?
This is a really good little tip.
Yeah.
So if you've done a track once, you can use that many times. So it took a few seconds just to track that area. We'll do, again, something similar here. If I just soften that. So I can go to this old shape I did here, where we did the track. If I delete the keyframe that's there and copy the track data, I can go to this shape and paste the track data. So that means now that's linked to that track that was happened before.
So since it knew it was moving a certain way before, it's going to reuse that data for this new box you did.
Yeah, exactly. So I can now add as many shapes and little things I want to do to highlight. I can do the sky, I could do anything I wanted to do here. And you can keep linking it back to that tracking data so that you only ever had to do that once.
Really cool.
That's really useful for products as well. If you're trying to focus on something, you can track a product once, and you can do as many little shapes and as many little things. So that's a really cool little trick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really cool. At the beginning, we talked about how APV is so great, and everyone should capture an APV and nothing else, right?
Correct.
If you were to have captured this in some older technology, some older codec, like H.264 or maybe 8-bit instead of APV 10-bit,
Yep.
what kind of problem would that have caused you?
OK, so I can show you here as a kind of shot before. So this has got a grade on it, same footage. And what I'll do is apply the exact same grade to H.264 8-bit. So you can see here, if I pull that in, you can see here, we start to get some banding, and some artifacts, all up here in
Can we
the
see
top.
that up here? Does that show up pretty well?
There you go.
Oh, yeah, you can
Show
zoom
here.
in.
If I can zoom in here.
Yeah,
So you
look
can
how
start to
ugly
see.
that is. Yeah.
So if I go between APV
Yep.
and H.264, you can see quite quickly it starts to break.
Look at all the chunky, like, pink in the clouds. It's bizarre.
So
those are like compression artifacts?
Yeah, compression artifacts. And what's really interesting is that you can't actually really tell they're there until you start to stretch the image.
Yeah.
So you don't realize how much you're putting yourself in a corner until you start to really go, let's put contrast and saturation, and you'll realize quite quickly that your image starts to break.
So you're saying before you graded, the images look pretty similar to each other?
Look pretty similar, but
It's just
then
when you started to push it, it gets worse.
as soon as you start to push it, it gets worse. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Everyone should capture an APV. Why don't we switch to the Manchester United work that you did?
Yeah.
Now, you personally graded the video we did with Manchester United, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So show us kind of your methodology here, what you were working on.
Okay, so with this clip, the idea was, so I was actually on set when we filmed this, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
I was on set, I was grading on this laptop, and it was really useful because the idea of this film is really rich Man United reds. You know, that's a common theme throughout. As another cinematic look, but the density and the level of red had to be true to the kit.
I see.
So when this was shot, it was a quick shoot in this room, and there wasn't full control over all of the lighting.
So, sorry, this is the original.
This is the
This is in
original.
log again. That's why it looks so flat,
That's
right?
log, yes.
Okay. But this wasn't the look you were going for, obviously.
Absolutely, no.
Okay, all right.
So when we're there, the concern was how well is that red coming through? And I could go on the laptop.
The jersey actually, sorry to interrupt you, the jersey actually looks pink, which is...
Yeah, all of this lighting starts to look pink.
Yeah.
And that was concern on the day.
I got
wanted
it.
to make sure that, can that look correct? In grade,
You
can
want
we fix
to
that?
use the Manchester United red.
Yeah,
Got it.
absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. And we could do a quick grade where we go, yeah, that works. We're safe. We can carry on shooting. We don't need to change anything. This red is true and looks good. So I also did a few little shapes and tricks here just to make sure that we're getting everything out of this image that we could. So if I disable this, this is roughly how the grade looked, just as a base kind of creative grade. This is the style I was going for. I think that, as you can see here, we've got a little hotspot here. And to me, that was quite distracting.
So you're talking about the hotspot like here on the lockers, right?
Yeah. So
your eye is drawn to the white.
Yeah. It's much brighter, and I want people looking at the jersey. That's the point of this film. The next shot is a close-up.
You want people to look at the jersey.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay.
So I've done a little shape just here on the top right, you can see. And if I turn that on, you can see I've just brought everything outside of that down.
Yeah.
So immediately your eye is starting to go towards that top right corner of the frame.
Totally, yeah.
And then I did two more, a soft shape up here, just giving it kind of a more natural lift, because sometimes if you do harsh rotoscoping and you do big changes in exposure, you can kind of feel there's a shape there. So I added one more shape up in the top corner, just giving it a nice soft lift. And then you see here, I've labeled it blue less. This is just taking out some of the blue tones that when I brought the grade down, I just started introducing some cool tones that I didn't want in the image. So that is a link to this shape here. Inside of here is brightening, and then outside is just pulling some of the blue tones.
Very cool.
Out of it. Yeah.
So you said that you were actually on site
Correct.
with the laptop, with the Snapdragon laptop.
Yeah.
That's not normally what you do, right?
No. Usually I'll have my suite.
You have a color-graded suite at your office.
Yeah. But so
expensive hardware, big monitors.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
So how was it working on the laptop?
It was great. It was really, really good. So when I'm in the suite, I can use every single tool, and that's absolutely fine. And in my past, when I've been working with laptops, that has been something I've had to consider. What can I use? Can I track things? Can I use AI tools? Can I do keys? Can I work in the same way? And what was really interesting with this, working with APV, I just did everything as I usually would.
Yeah.
Which is really, really interesting, because that's not really happened with me for a laptop before.
Really?
Yeah.
So no compromises.
No compromises. I approached the grade in the same way, and I could do everything I wanted.
But before, you had problems on laptops, or?
Yeah, you just have to kind of consider what you would be using. So you kind of go, I'm going to do a track here, I'm going to do this here. And as you're doing more and adding more, it slows down. And
I see.
The thing in Resolve is it can show you in the top corner kind of a frame rate that you're watching back at. And you can see as you add more, that just drops. So yeah, it was really, really cool to use everything I did in the suite, really.
So your experience with X Elite was good. You like it?
Great, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Thank you so much. We have the entire video that he graded. Why don't we roll it? Walk up over here. Totally cool.
Cool.
Dom, excellent work.
Thank you.
Excellent work. Thank you for coming all the way from the UK to show us this.
Pleasure.
Really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, Dom will be down here a little bit later after the session. You can ask him more questions. So, wasn't that cool? Really cool stuff. All right. So now, for even more that Snapdragon X2 Elite can do, I'm going to hand over the stage to Mondar. Mondar, come on out. Nothing dead, man.
Hello, hello. What an exciting day. Who is having fun here in Maui? Woo! You know, this is a very special moment for all of us. I still remember a few of us were debating about specifications for our Snapdragon X2 Elite platform. I'll say almost fighting. And this was all at a time when we hadn't even launched our first generation of platform in the market. But we all were very clear about our vision. We wanted to bring the highest performing and the most intelligent platform to the market. And I'm very proud to see this vision come true today. You have seen how apps like DaVinci Resolve run flawlessly on the Snapdragon X2 Elite platform. Now, DaVinci Resolve is a great app which lets you capture the world around you and lets you edit to your taste. But at the same time, our worlds are becoming more and more virtual through movies and games. And this is only possible through a different class of apps, 3D modeling and rendering. Maxon is the leader in this space. Their ZBrush application lets us create, sculpt, and paint the models. Then you can take these models in Cinema 4D and give them life through animation and rendering. The Snapdragon X2 Elite platform is built to meet the needs of such applications. It has the Orion Gen 3 18-core CPU with 12 prime and 6 performance cores that can run up to 5 gigahertz in a dual-core boost mode. This 18-core beast lets you run heavily multi-threaded applications extremely efficiently. This means in ZBrush, the brush seems extremely responsive. With the performance of the Snapdragon X2 Elite and all the optimizations that we have done with Maxon, now you can get up to 2x better performance versus our previous platform. In Cinema 4D, the animation and rendering can be done up to 3.5 times faster versus our previous generation. By the way, Cinema 4D is an extremely demanding application, so much so that it has turned into an industry standard benchmark, Cinebench. A higher score on Cinebench directly results into a better user experience. With about 116% higher performance versus competition, creators can now finish their tasks significantly faster on the Snapdragon PCs. And the good thing is, all of this, you can get the higher performance even in a restricted environment like a thin and light PC. Also, Snapdragon X2 Elite uses far less power. As you can see here, competition requires 257% more power for the same performance, 257%. GPUs are another critical piece for creator workloads. Our next generation of Adreno GPU supports the latest DX12.2 Ultimate features and is more than 2 times faster in terms of performance. With this, now we can unlock the full potential of the creator applications, and that too without compromising of any battery life. We have invested in a brand new Hexagon NPU architecture with 80 TOPS of capability. With this, we can enable new features like AI-assisted search in Cinema 4D. By moving such features onto the NPU, we can make the PCs thinner, lighter, and cooler, and also keep the system resources like the CPUs and GPUs free for other critical tasks. You know, I could go on, but what's the point of me bragging about our platform? I'm thrilled to invite Paul and Rick from Maxon to talk more about how they're taking advantage of Snapdragon X2 Elite's phenomenal capabilities.
Well, hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here at the Snapdragon Summit. And we're here on behalf of Maxon, the creative powerhouse behind some of the most widely used creative tools in the 3D industry. If you watched a blockbuster film, played a cutting-edge game, or been inspired by stunning motion graphics, chances are you've already seen Maxon software at work. We make tools like Cinema 4D, ZBrush, Redshift, and Red Giant that empower artists all around the world to tell stories, design products, and bring imagination to life. But why tell you about it when I can show you? Here's a quick look at just a few of the stunning creations artists have made with Maxon tools. Thank you. Isn't that great? Now my colleague Paul will share some more details about how Maxon tools have been used in various industries.
Thanks, Rick. In film and television, the tools in Maxon One are behind Oscar-winning visual effects in some of the biggest franchises in the world. From creating concept art, scary monsters, to digital doubles, to environments and more, Maxon is always found at the center of film production. In gaming, ZBrush is the preferred application for sculpting characters, creatures, environments, props, and more. Additionally, Cinema 4D meets a wide range of creators' needs, including character animation, cinematic trailers, as you can see the images that are playing right now. In architecture and design, our tools help create photorealistic product visualizations, immersive experiences, and present bold architectural concepts. In motion graphics and advertisement, Cinema 4D is the industry standard. Visually, virtually every television promo, streaming opener, and major advertisement incorporates the power of Cinema 4D, Redshift, and Red Giant tools to achieve the final visual effects. And editors and compositors in Adobe Premiere, After Effects, and Resolve can make use of Red Giant's stylization effects, transitions, color tools, and more.
As you can see, the Maxon community is full of brilliant artists who leveraged our powerful software to bring their wildest dreams to life. This level of creativity demands tools flexible enough to meet them at the moment inspiration strikes, wherever that may be. So we're thrilled to announce that both Cinema 4D and ZBrush will ship with native Snapdragon support in spring 2026. Native Snapdragon support uses 1.5 gigs less memory with performance gains of more than 50%. And to demonstrate the possibilities, we teamed up with Qualcomm and Something's Awry Studio to create a short we call Rush Order. And we've brought some preview builds here to give you a sneak peek at how this animation comes together in Cinema 4D, powered by the Snapdragon X2 Elite. So here we have one of the shots from the animation, which is our hero cruising through down the highway through some traffic that somehow got moved. And I'm going to show you how to add the traffic in Cinema 4D. So here we go, and one of the main aspects of the 3D process is pulling together assets from various sources, whether they be some of the hundreds of assets that we provide as part of our subscription, or assets that artists have on their own computer. To make it easy for artists to find assets, we've created an AI-based asset search, so that regardless of keywording, you can just type a word and get a list of relevant assets. And you can even search visually as well. And as mentioned earlier, we worked with Qualcomm to optimize the indexing for this for the Snapdragon NPU. Now, once we have assets, we can add them into the scene simply by dragging and dropping, and you'll see that they automatically align to any of the surfaces in the project. In fact, I can actually select all of these and load them at the same time. And I'm gonna just choose the scatter brush here, and we can simply paint these into the interface. But that's a little bit messy, a bit like a traffic jam, and I'm gonna do something a little bit more interesting, which is to use the cloner object, which is Cinema 4D's premier object for creating copies of objects and procedurally animating them. So I'll just drag all of these objects, all these cars, into my cloner, and move the cloner up to the road surface. And now, with just a few quick adjustments, I can tweak the spacing between the objects. I can create more cars and get things basically how I want them. And now I want to procedurally animate these. And so to do that, I can just add what we call a plane effector. And all this does is move all of them in a consistent direction. But I'm going to have them move forward instead of up and down. And then here I'm just going to have that automatically be affected by the scene time. So now we have smoothly flowing traffic down the road. And to make this look just a little bit more realistic, I'm going to add a random field and drop that into the offset. And now all the cars move at slightly different rates. And this is all parametric, so we can make the traffic move just a little bit faster. I wish I could do that in LA.
Yes. I was just about to say that. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Paul, who's going to show you ZBrush.
Great. Thanks, Rick. So I'm going to start with just talking about what ZBrush is really well known for. This is a model by Lucas Seneca, so I'm sure some of you might recognize where the inspiration of this came from. So I'm going to just turn off the coloring that he did here, and we're going to just go here in the neck. And kind of what I want to show is what ZBrush is really known for is its brush system. So this is pressure sensitivity, where I can just build up a surface, I can make a bigger brush size, and just start sculpting on here. And I'm not going to be able to duplicate what Lucas did here, but you can see how nice and smooth the brush system is working on the Snapdragon X2 Elite. It's a very smooth process. I'm getting great feedback through here, and this is how kind of easy it is to make wrinkles. I'm definitely not as good as Lucas. So we're also known for other things. So I'm going to pull up Lucy from the little animation you guys saw. So you can also paint in ZBrush, because like we said, concepting. I want to kind of change the coloring of her outfit. So I'm going to mask off certain colors that I don't want to affect. So I'm just going to take the orange. You know what? I'm going to take the green as well. And then I can just kind of just start playing with the hues. And maybe as art directors, because they always know what they want, I'm going to go ahead and change the color and say, you know what? I'm kind of liking that one. We're good to go. So that's changing my color. You know, the other thing I want to do is I got these little stickers on her arm here, right? So I want to be able to use these stickers and do something else. I'm going to switch to my painting brush. I'm going to say, hey, let's take the ZBrush logo. So I have my ZBrush logo here. This is going to allow me to move this in a location. I can change the size if I want to. I can rotate it if I want to as well. But the good thing is I can keep that image just floating around. I tend to like having a little bit of the snapshot, so I can kind of just go over top and kind of get a visual where I'd like to put that. So it gives me the ability to kind of find my location first, where I want that, and then just start painting right across the actual model. And then there we go. We put the ZBrush logo on our arm. I'm sure something Araya is just thrilled about that. Oh, Windows key. So besides that, ZBrush is known for many things, many other things. So here's a great example. This was actually done by one of our beta testers, Joseph Thomas, in our most recent beta. And you can see this character has got a lot of hard surface on it too, so we're not just organic. But one of the big things I wanted to highlight is you can see how smooth this character is. And specifically, you can see this character is 310 million polygons across 89 different meshes. So with the Snapdragon X2 Elite, you can see the process is very smooth and have a great interaction with ZBrush on the system itself. So that's a little sneak peek of what you can do in ZBrush in Cinema 4D. We can't wait for you all to experience for yourselves the native Snapdragon X2 Elite with ZBrush and Cinema 4D coming, again, spring 2026. Thank you, and I'm going to send it back to Mandar now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wasn't that fantastic? I would now like. Thank you. I would like to call Judd back on the stage, and we'll take some questions.
Chairs.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Testing. All right. Thank you so much, Mondar and Judd, for sharing this content with us. I'm in the back.
Okay.
Back right for your perspective. Okay, and thank you all for the attendees joining our Filmmaking Masterclass Elite Experience session. We are now opening a Q&A for the content that you've just seen. So if you'd like to submit a question, please scan the QR code on screen. There is a Slido forum where you can submit your questions. You can also upvote and downvote the questions that are already on there. Obviously, today we are joined by Mondar, who is Qualcomm's Senior Director of Product Management for Compute. And then we're also joined by Judd, who is Qualcomm's VP of Product Management for Multimedia. Okay, with that, let's get started. The first question is, can you elaborate on the role that Qualcomm microphones play with audio sense? Do the OEMs need to use your mics, or how does it work?
Yeah. Actually, it's brand new. So yes, OEMs will be able to use the mics, acquire the mics, as well as the audio processing pipeline. So yeah, all that will be available.
Excellent. The next question is, hi, I'm a Snapdragon insider, really excited to be here. Do you think eventually the coloring process would be done by on-device AI as a suggestion before allowing you to keep it or amend what it thinks the footage should look like?
Ooh, good question. Actually, you should probably talk to Dom about that when he's down here at the end, but I'll give my, yeah, he's right here. I'll give my opinion. No, I think you're gonna need a human in the loop to add creative control. While you can do some things with AI, I think you're not gonna replace Dom anytime soon for this sort of thing. That's my opinion.
Okay. Could you tell us more about Snapdragon AudioSense? Is it a new hardware component added to the chipset, or is it an audio signal processing technology implemented in the software? Second part of the question. Sorry.
Yes, it's both. So yeah, so the 24-bit audio pipeline and software to handle it is there. It's in 8 Elite. But the microphones are new hardware, new pieces of hardware. These are physical microphones that piezoelectric MEMS microphones that Qualcomm will sell and have available.
Perfect. And then the second half of that question is, does it operate independently from the ISP, as it is a solution that can integrate with a voice-only recorder app?
Absolutely. So you do not need to use it with the ISP. A lot of what we showed today was capturing video and audio at the same time. But no, you could use this for anything. It can be used for AI wake words, for talking to your agent. It could be used just for simple audio recording, anything you like.
Thank you. Mondar, with the new AVP codec and log options, should the images and color reproduction be consistent, or are OEMs applying their own color science?
Yeah, so the way you should think about all the experiences that we have on the mobile, I think they would be directly leveraged to what we can translate back to the PCs. So anything that you saw on the videos that Judd presented should be all applicable for PCs as well. You're welcome to add.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Next question is, when will we be able to actually begin capturing video and APV on our smartphones?
Okay. So I don't know who the first OEM will be, but it will be available soon. It will be it will be available, I would say, early 2026. But yes, there will be. I can confirm that there will be at least one, probably multiple OEMs that will implement or will use the APV hardware.
Thank you. Does it support higher color space than 420, and also if the display can do 10-bit color depth?
Yes and yes. So the codec supports 444 and 422 in the standard. Right now, we're able to capture in 422. And yeah, we've supported 10-bit displays for quite some time.
Thank you. Are there significant improvements to handling, encoding, and decoding footage in real time in apps like DaVinci Resolve and X2 Elite versus X Elite first gen?
Casey, can you repeat that one more time? Sorry?
Of course. Yeah. Are there significant improvements to handling, encoding, and decoding footage in real time in apps like DaVinci Resolve in X2 versus our first gen?
Yeah. So in general, we have upped the video capabilities from our first generation. In a real-time use case, you can think of the first generation was typically supporting 4K resolutions for encoding and decoding. We have now gone to multi-stream 8K resolution. So you can run up to like 36 streams of 8K encoding, decoding simultaneously. Again, there are a lot of proof points that you have seen. Shantanu today morning also highlighted the importance of having higher resolution. So this is all coming together now.
What is the maximum bit rate that the APV codec bit rate and chroma subsampling possible on the smartphone?
Okay. So chroma upsampling, like I said, the standard can support 422 or 444. The maximum bit rate, I don't remember the exact number, but it's in excess of 3, probably even 4 gigabits per second. It's quite large.
DaVinci Resolve really likes video memory, especially on the GPU side. How much VRAM can be allocated to the GPU, or is it dynamic on per need basis?
We'll have to look into that in the Architecture Day discussions.
With this improvement on the ISP, are there any improvements on live video production?
Live video production. You mean like in the viewfinder? Is that the question? Or, well, maybe I'll answer it that way. So, yeah, so of course, with the new codec and the new improvements in the ISP, 24-bit, the output is still 422 or 420, 10-bit. We can record in APV, we can record in H.265, 264, HDR10, 10 plus, Dolby Vision, et cetera. So none of that changes. The source from the ISP, the 24-bit, the support of the new image sensors I talked about, all that's just going to make the source material look so much better. And in the viewfinder, of course, what we always strive to do with our camera app is make sure that it's WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So your final video that you get out at the end, we want to try to make the viewfinder look as close to that as we can, so that it gives the photographer or the videographer confidence in what he's shooting. Hope that answered the question.
Thanks. We talked about the video recording capabilities enabled by the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, such as log and the new AVP codec. So will every smartphone with the 8 Elite Gen 5 have these functions out of the box? Will we find log and AVP on every smartphone?
Really good question. Those are up to OEMs. So the hardware is there. And of course, most OEMs today are using 264, 265, even AV1 for playback. APV will be at the discretion of the OEM, but the hardware, the capability will be there.
How will TruePic work in practice when the ISP is augmenting the picture already? Where is the line drawn to separate original content from the altered one?
Ooh, really good question. Yeah, great question. So we are incorporating the C2PA software, the software that does the digital signing. By the way, it runs in TEE, so it's secure. We're incorporating that into 8 Elite so that all OEMs can use it. But it can work not just on capturing photographs that you capture in the ISP. It works with video, it works with audio, and if the application supports it, we'll have APIs available. So a third-party application, like for example, Photoshop for the phone. If you load in a photograph, you make changes to it. Photoshop does support C2PA, so when you write the image back out, the provenance data will be adjusted when you write out the file. So yeah, I mean, it'll be supported not only in the first-party apps, but also in the third-party apps.
Thank you. And will you be able to use the log and AVP format at the same time in editing software?
In editing software? Yes. So for example, what we showed today, where on the X2 Elite, using DaVinci Resolve, it supports log right out of the box. And I'm sure that many applications on the handset will support that as well. So yes, typically, most professional flows use log, like for the reasons that Dom mentioned. You know, you want all the data to be there. So any editing application that supports APV will also support 422 and log data and basically every part of the standard.
Excellent. I know there are a couple more questions out there, but we want to thank Mondar and Judd, as well as our attendees who submitted these questions. We're actually going to take the last few moments of this session to invite you to meet the experts, including our Qualcomm spokespeople and our partners, at the front of the kind of stage area to ask more questions, and then you can continue those conversations in our press room. In about 8 minutes, we would like you to stay in this room for our AI is the new UI Elite Experiences session. The Slido for that session will be available soon, but in the meantime, I want to thank everyone for joining us.
Yeah.